Anthony Antonello here. It is August 20th, 2015, and I want to talk about the global economic markets. And I know many of us have been talking about the coming collapse ever since the collapse, which took place in 2007, and I talk about how that certainly wasn't an accident happening right at the time it did, because Democrats were able to blame Republicans were able to blame Democrats, and the timing was just perfect. And it also goes with my formula saying that 2015, 2016 is when we're really going to see the bottom of this global economic engineered disaster just give way and completely disappear. Well, from what it looks like, the waiting for that is over. And what I have right here are 23 nations around the world where stock markets are crashing as we speak. And, the article starts off here: you could stop waiting for the global financial crisis to happen because it's already happening. All over the world, stock markets are already crashing. Most of these stock market crashes are occurring in nations that are known as emerging markets. In recent years, developing countries in Asia, South America, and Africa loaded up on lots of cheap loans that were denominated in US dollars, but now the US dollar has been surging. Those borrowers are finding that it takes much more out of their own local currencies to service those loans. At the same time, prices are crashing for many of the commodities that those countries export. The exact same kind of double whammy caused the Latin American debt crisis of the 1980s and the Asian financial crisis of the 1990s. So what are these 23 nations? And we'll start off here with number one being Malaysia. And I'll just go through them. Brazil, Egypt, China, which we're hearing all about all over the mainstream right now. People is wondering, what's going on with the markets? Indonesia, South Korea, Turkey, Chile, Colombia, Peru, Bulgaria, Greece, which we already heard about, Poland, Serbia, Slovenia, Ukraine, Ghana, Kenya, Morocco, Nigeria, Singapore, Taiwan, and Thailand. So, seems like it's really over in the East. And there's two other things here, that I want to read. Of course, this is just the beginning. The Western world is going to feel, the Western world is going to feel this kind of pain as well very soon. I want to share with you an excerpt from an article that just appeared in the Telegraph entitled "Doomsday Clock for Global Market Crash Strikes 1 minute to midnight as central banks lose control." You see, the Telegraph is not just one of the most important newspapers in the UK, it is truly one of the most important newspapers in the entire world. When it speaks on financial matters, millions of people listen very carefully. So the Telegraph to declare that the countdown to the global market crash is 1 minute to midnight is a very, very big deal. When the banking crisis crippled global markets 7 years ago, central bankers stepped in and lenders as lenders of last resort. Private sector loans were moved into the public sector. Okay, we know all this. Time is now rapidly running out. From China to Brazil, the central banks have lost control, and at the same time, the global economy is grinding to a halt. It is only a matter of time before stock markets collapse under the weight of their lofty expectations and record valuations. So, this is exactly what I've been talking about. The timeline is exactly what I've been saying. I encourage you all to read the rest of that excellent article, and I'll make sure I put the link in the description. It contains lots of charts and graphs, and it discusses many of the exact same things that I have been hammering on for months. One of the following newspapers of record of the entire planet starts sounding exactly like an economic collapse blog. Others are sounding the alarm about the imminent global financial crash as well. For example, just consider that Egon von Greyerz recently told King World News, "Eric, I found this coming. I fear that this coming September, October, all hell will break loose in the world economy and markets." A lot of factors point to that, both fundamental and technical indicators, and this indicates that we could have a number of shocks this autumn. Sadly, most investors will hold stocks, bonds, and property and will see any decline in value as an opportunity. And it goes on here, but this is exactly what I've been talking about. I do believe that we're seeing this collapse happen in real time right now, and it's only a matter of time before it gets to the west here. It is exactly the timeline that I talked about, 2015 going into 2016. So is the collapse here? I do believe so. I don't think it's possible in any way, shape, or form to sustain what they have done. This is a manufactured collapse. It's an engineered collapse, and there's really no other way to put it. They have pretty much pulled the pin out of the grenade and tossed it, and that timer is running down, and there's no way to stop it. So it's only a matter of time, and from all my indicators, I've been saying 2015 going into 2016, and now it looks like many people and other outlets are backing up what I've been saying about that. So like I said, I'll put the links in the description, and that's all I have on this one. So if you're new to my work, make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Anthony Antonello, and